Hi pastors! Welcome to our simple tutorial on how to do home videos using your cell phones or your mobile device, whether it be Huawei or an iPhone 11 or your iPad. So these are simple tips. I have 5 items that I want to give you so we can still be a bit excellent in how we do things, even if we're shooting ourselves at home using our cell phones. Just 5 simple tips. We need to change our mindset on the social media behavior, because when we are on site in our churches, if 500 people come to our venue, then we have 500 live human beings watching us. Whether they're listening, they're paying attention, we don't know. But what we know is there are 500 human beings sitting there in our venue. But in the world of social media, it's not the same. So I'm sure you noticed that when you come out with your content, your videos or your Sunday live streams, you see the live viewers. Now, it doesn't mean that if your live viewers are like, for example, 1,500 and you're already jumping up and down, yay, 1,500 people was watching me. Well, not exactly, not really. Kasi, ang ating social media behavior, people in social media have ADHD. They have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. They have ADHD. And there is so much content in the internet that people just, click, 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 browse, browse, swipe, swipe, swipe. They can easily decide what they want to watch at that particular second, and it's really up to them. Now, it's up to us how we can engage our audience in the best possible way. And number 1 is content. We need to have good content. And when I say content, we need to be coming out with content nowadays, relevant to what people want to hear. They want to hear encouragement. They want to hear hope. They want to hear messages that will strengthen them and build up their faith against fear or doubt or depression or anxiety. We need to be relevant to our audience, and they need to hear what they need. So that's how we keep them engaged. Now, because they have ADHD, we need to keep our messages or our preaching short, concise, and precise. Now, what we've been doing in Alabang is when we come out with our Sunday service streams, we keep our messages from 35 minutes to 38 minutes. And that should already include the altar call. And we've been really very strict about that. Why? Because of the ADHD of people, Facebook actually measures the attention of the people. How many people watched you for 1 second? How many people watched you for 3 seconds, for 10 seconds, or for 1 minute? We look at the analytics so that we know and we can strategize how to be better in coming out with our content. So that's number 1. Content is king. Keep it to 30 to 40 minutes max. Keep your entire service 1 hour, 15, something like that, so that we don't lose the engagement. And engagement is so important. Number 2 is authenticity. So again, we need to change our mindset. Preaching on a platform, we can gesture with our hands. We can, when we get fired up and we feel the anointing of God flowing, from heaven down to us, and we get so excited. It's not the same way when we're doing a video at home, because people can get scared if we do that. So the difference is we're not on a platform, we are talking one-on-one. So just like me right now, I am talking to you one-on-one. I'm not thinking that I'm addressing a big crowd in front of me. In my mind, I am addressing one particular person, and I need to keep that in my head. I need to think that I'm talking to a friend. I need to come across as sincere. I need to come across as approachable, and our gesturing, our posture, the way we sit, the way we compose ourselves, it's all being scrutinized because it's on video and people are watching at their own time. Unlike in church where people are seated, you can make a mistake on stage and people will be fine with it. It's forgivable. When a pastor gestures so much, then it can be distracting. Or when a pastor is looking at his notes, like it said in Jeremiah, and also in Isaiah, it says there in Isaiah, when you're always looking on the side because your notes are there, it's very distracting. And people will think that you don't know what you're talking about. And so your authenticity and your sincerity drops down a lot to our audience. So the more I look to the camera like this, the way I'm doing now, the more personal I become and the more one-on-one my audience will feel, with me. I am being one-on-one with one particular person, and that's forefront in my mind. If I'm looking here and I'm preaching a message and my eyes are looking here on the side because that's where I see myself on the screen, it's very alienating, don't you think? Because when I'm preaching a very deep and profound message about hope, there is so much hope even in this time of doubt and uncertainty. There is still hope. So do you feel that there's hope if I do that? If I'm looking here, hindi masyado, 'di ba? Hindi masyadong personal at sincere at authentic yung dating. Unlike if I'm, straight on talking to you. I'm talking to you. There is hope. You don't need to feel anxious because God is with you. So number 1, content. ADHD. Our audience have ADHD. Number 2, authenticity. Number 3, audio. As you see now, the camera is like an arm's length from me. Okay? So this is an ideal setup because I don't have to project my voice so loud. I'm projecting a little bit, but not so much so that it's so exaggerated. I'm still being me. So this is the most ideal length between me and the camera. When we come out with content in social media, audio has higher priority than video. If your video is a little blurry, but your audio is very good, that's more forgivable for people. But if your audio quality is bad, there's so much static, or they cannot hear you because your voice is so soft at masyado kayong malumanay po mag-preach, or siguro very serious lang talaga kayo at hindi kayo very energetic katulad ng personality ko. Pero kung ganun po yung boses natin when we preach, our message will not come across very well. So audio is very important. Now, if you feel that you want to have a wider shot, that's okay. But make sure that your audio comes across clear. Of course, don't shoot outdoors. Right now, I'm shooting outdoors. Ewan ko, did you hear the tuko? There was tuko, there's motor, there are birds chirping all around. So actually, I'm not in a very ideal setup because I can hear so many things, and I'm sure you can hear also so many things. So if you notice, we move to a different location simply because we want our audio to be cleaner and crisper. So this is a much better location because we are indoors.
Kung meron po kayong headset na kasama ng telepono ninyo, mas maganda po itong pang-record. Mas malinaw po. Makikita nyo po, ginagamit ko po yung aking headset mic at tinatago ko lang sa camera.
Now, let's go to number 4, composition and lighting. So, I don't know if you noticed, there's a window right here beside me. So, it's giving me natural light. So, that's good. So, the best time to shoot is when it's morning until early afternoon, where you have natural light on you. But if it's lights coming from, a ceiling or a lamp or ano bang tawag doon, Andrew? Practical lights. So, if your light source are practical lights, then that's not very ideal kasi it's going to be dark. So, this is the best scenario. Now, you don't want to be standing in front of a window because you'll be in silhouette. And if you are in silhouette, you're gonna look like you are in witness protection program.
At pag-shoot po natin, always face the light po. Kasi pag tayo ay tumalikod sa ilaw, tayo ay mapupunta sa kadiliman. Ang last po na kailangan natin ma-remember sa pag-iilaw, pag wala po kayong bintana or medyo madilim sa labas habang nag-shoot kayo, pwede rin po kayo magdagdag ng mga ilaw na mahanap nyo sa loob ng inyong tahanan. Kamukha nitong desk lamp na nilagyan ko lang po ng tissue para kumalat yung ilaw ng mabuti.
You can see I'm still an arm's length from my device. So there's such a thing as rule of thirds in my framing. Ideally, the third, so there's 1, 2, 3 lines. The third line should be on my eye level. Okay, so my eye level should be my camera lens's eye level. That's the best composition that we can have. Okay, now consider your background. So since you are going to be using your cell phones, and not a lot of cell phones can give you a shallow depth of field, just like what we have now, you can see my background is a little defocus, which is good, but not all cell phones can do that. So if you notice, I'm standing behind a white wall, which is flat. Now, good thing there's texture, which makes it a little more interesting, but it's still not the best and most ideal setup because a flat background will give you a flat shot and a flat video. So it's not so interesting. What would be better is consider a deeper background, So medyo malalim siya, 'di ba? You can see things behind. It's not so distracting, but at least there is depth. Hindi yung you're not in a shot that feels so claustrophobic that your audience also feels like they're in a small room together with you. So make it feel airy and make it feel like your background is interesting from behind. And when you consider your background, make sure that your lines are straight. So I'm sure you can see the window behind me. So there are lines on the window. So make sure that those lines are straight. I'm sure you can see some banisters or stairs on one side, and those lines are straight as well. Not like I may look like I'm okay because I'm in the center, but actually my background is kind of skewed, and that's not right. When you're considering what you're gonna wear, make sure that you're not wearing the same color as your background. Otherwise, you're gonna look like a floating head in your shot. Here's another example. I'm wearing a flesh-colored blouse. and flesh does not look too well on video because it's the same color of my skin, so I can come across like I'm naked. And I'm also against a beige background. So there you have it, pastors, our simple tutorial on making videos at home using your cell phone camera. Just 5 items for you to think about and for you to experiment on. I commend our pastors, Pastor Paul, Sister Shadi, Pastor Giselle and Mylene, all our pastors who've been preaching week after week after week. They've just been so open in learning because this is the first time they're doing all of this, right? So, since it's their first time, congratulations. Sandali lang po, Bruno. Congratulations to all our pastors. They've been so open in learning, and listening to me and to what I have to say on how to make our videos better and more excellent. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this simple tutorial.
Bruno!